once we go up it. It's this, man. It's like this for like 30 minutes. And then it's like...
Sounds awesome,
I mean, dude, it's so long. It's like literally like the directions there is like 3 rights, but it's so long of stretch. And like the mountain, you know how mountain roads are, like a mile seems like it's forever because it's so tight and narrow. And, I mean, man, but it's scary out there.
What is he doing?
I don't know.
Alright, hello everybody, this is director August Aguilar of Strange Films, and today we are doing something a little differently since we are all quarantined and locked down in our homes. Hope everybody is doing okay. It is a very scary world out there at the moment. It is scary times. So being quarantined, being at home, you know, trying to stay busy with certain things as best we can. For the most part, we're just trying to stay positive. You know, we'll get through this all eventually. But, you know, it's been leading to some creative ambitions as far as just trying to write some more or look back at previous work and think on it and learn from it and grow. I figured this could be a unique opportunity to do a commentary of some sort of some of our projects, as well as looking back on my computer. I've seen that I've actually had a lot of old footage of behind the scenes shots that we took of some projects, not all projects, but some we've have some behind the scenes work. So for our very first film, There's Something Down the Road, we actually had a lot of extra behind the scenes footage, and today I was just going to play that and talk about it and kind of show some stuff about as far as my thought process goes and what the experience was like for me. So this is There's Something on the Road. I'm sure if you are familiar with our work or you know me, August, that you've seen this at some point. Like, this is the very first film I had completed back in 2016. It's a horror film. It's the birth of Strange Films. It's the introduction to that universe. It's the introduction to my directing style and my ideas, and something that me and my father, Frank Aguilar, worked on together. The first beginning of that collaboration as well. So in this video, I think I'm going to I clipped together just a bunch of the small clips of the behind-the-scenes footage that my friend Ryan Brown shot at the day of shooting. I had an extra little handy cam, and I just said, "Dude, could you just record everything?" And so I'm gonna let this play. So I clipped these, just some of the best together, and then I'm gonna have the film play, and I'm gonna talk about kind of the difference of, you know, seeing behind the scenes and actually watching the film. So what you're seeing now is just me getting ready to head to the mountain where we shot. We shot in Oak Ridge. So there's Ryan. And that's my friend Corey.
We would like for you to donate $1 million to the Christopher Reeve Foundation.
He's already passed.
We would like.
I mean, I guess you can still.
So Ryan and Corey are two of my old best friends back in Kingsport. Grown up with them, known them for years. So we are on our way. We've got Corey in the car, myself, that's Dad in the front seat, and then Ryan, and then we have Dennis, which is Dennis Barber over there.
Yeah, man.
I'm liking our cast, man.
As soon as he smiled, it's like, oh yeah, that's Charles.
We just met Charles.
Charles,
Charles
sure.
Dennis,
right on.
Charles.
who plays Charles in the film.
Charles.
Well, in fact, his name is Charles too, man. He was born for this role.
So Corey and Ryan are really fun. We grew up just hanging out and getting into shenanigans together. But this is kind of like our banter that we always have.
He's strange.
Somebody talks to people who's like, that sounds strange. Sounds real strange.
Thank you. So we thought we were going down the scary road, but now we're just going down the scary road.
So the drive took about 45 minutes, I believe, to get to the location. Again, this was shot in Oak Ridge, and I was new to Knoxville, so this was the first time I was in Oak Ridge. But the road, it was pretty simple to get there, but it just took so long that in that very beginning, you see me explaining it a little bit, but I'm pretty much telling them how scary it is getting up there, because it's a really, really creepy looking road. But it's climbing up a mountain. We had no service, and it was just
We're now heading
looking.
up the mountain.
Here we are.
To the final spot for the film, and we have no service.
There we go. And there's a little preview of kind of just like what it was looking like outside. There's the actual road that we shot on. And if you look at that road, if you look at the Strange Films logo, I didn't design it, Tim designed it, but I gave him the idea of that particular kind of road to incorporate into the style of the logo. So if you look at the logo and that curvy road, this is the reference point of that logo. Little road in Oak Ridge. But it was very, very creepy, isolated, no service. You know, there was like dogs hanging out in the middle of the street. There's hardly any people. You know, it was a perfect setting for a horror film. And Gina, I think, was the one who suggested this spot, because she lived like right around the corner from here. So here we are. We've got Corey, my buddy. We've got Shaman. She was our makeup artist. She's explaining a little bit about the makeup right here. This is the first time I met most of these people, except for I met Dennis a few days before, and then of course I know Ryan and Corey. But and I don't know why I'm wearing like this heavy rain jacket and a beanie. I think it was a little chilly early in the day, but that was a news jacket actually. I was working on the news at the time still. There's Roger, the stranger, and here I am. I like to give a little spiel before my directing. Gina is over there sitting down. She's resting. My dad, he's hanging out there. Charles. But yeah, I usually give a little directing, just a thank you, kind of explain how the day is going to go out and stuff. And this is my first attempt doing this.
We'll move on to the heavy dialogue scene later. Basically, though, it's a fairly simple story. There's a lot of things going on in this film, and like when people watch it, I want them to know that it's a solid story by itself, but there's going to be subtle hints, there's going to be cues, there's going to be movements and looks that shows that there's a little bit something more going on to this. These two may actually be connected.
So this is me trying to explain the theory of that this is actually a bigger film than what we're trying to actually show on screen. I think it was a few days before, or the coming weeks, me and my dad was talking back and forth how this leads to a bigger story. There was a story before this, and you know, it was just excitement. It was very exciting to kind of think like bigger than just a little short film. So I was trying to really set this film up to be that way. I was trying to explain all this, but looking back, I think I should have just you know, just jumped straight into it. I had no idea what I was doing here, though, to be honest. I was just very nervous. My anxiety was starting to creep up right here, because it was about to get real. I was about to actually start shooting film, which I hadn't shot a film since college before that. That was 2 years. So right here, this is really cool, because Dennis and Corey, right there, they were rehearsing the lines back and forth all day. Like ever since I picked, we were driving in the car, the 45 minutes up, and they didn't start shooting their scenes till the end of the day. So they had probably about like 4 or 5 hours altogether just to kind of rehearse their lines together. And it was cool because Corey would walk off in the distance, he would just kind of go do his own thing, rehearsing his own lines, and Dennis would do the same thing. But they would like walk on complete opposite ends and then come back, and then as soon as they saw each other, they just would spit a line at each other, and they'd carry a conversation in character and play out the whole scene right then and there. So it was super neat to see their process. They had really, really good chemistry. They had a good time hanging out. And then this is where we're actually starting to shoot the film itself.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more to it, just like kind of like a like.
I believe that's Gina's car. There's Charles. This is the very first scene of the film, where Charles and Gina are changing a tire, and Stranger first pops up.
Charles, are you almost done yet?
Not with you asking me every 2 minutes. Be done in a minute, hon.
And the setup of this was just more of like, just an everyday like, weird encounter. They somehow got flat tire or whatever, and this thing comes out of the woods. But what I think is so funny about watching this like footage right here is like, that camera is a Nikon D3300, my first DSLR, a little random shotgun mic from that was like $20 on Amazon. That had feeble little tripod, and I think you can't really see right here. There's Roger suiting up his first shot. I had a little Zoom H1 attached right there in my hand. I kind of configured this little handy rig that I built, and the thing is, it was so bad. It's really embarrassing, and I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I studied film and I practiced film in college, but I had 2 years without doing anything. So going back into this, look, I'm like trying to change the lens. I had no idea what I'm doing. I had no crew. This is just me. So doing this with this limited equipment, I mean, I spent the last 2 months researching what to buy as far as equipment goes, and researching new techniques and what to do with the gear I had and stuff. So it's not like I was going in just blind. But looking at this setup now, or back then, and to how I do things now, is a lot different. And it's a lot more, just, I had no knowledge of kind of the technical aspects of a lot of things. I'm just kind of shooting at this point, just to kind of get this film done.
You want it right in the camera? Like
No, kind of like about right there. So I'm going to follow it up just like that, shaking a little bit. Your face.
But I do see at least my directing kind of coming out right here. And here's the makeup scene. Shimon, this is the first time I ever worked with a makeup artist too, for, special effects and blood and gore and stuff like that. Shimon was real nice. She, I think we just helped get her some supplies, but she came out. She was real cool to hang out with for the day. And this is Charles. He's all bloodied up.
That he's wanting to do.
Start working on her, and then when they're in the car, maybe you can need to touch up.
He had a, gunshot wound. There he is. Right here, Gina's got the same thing. I don't think we got footage of that though. And then this is kind of where we're at near the end of the film. We don't actually have footage of every single thing in this film, but this is kind of a little bit small clips. I'm getting real anxious right here though. This is
Filming one of your
you can kind of hear it in my
Yeah, I
voice.
mean,
really cool short films.
it's awesome. I'm glad to be back in the game. But it always constantly reminds me of how difficult filming is. There's always something to work around with. There's always not getting the shots exactly how you imagine them. There's always nature or...
Dude, like, I'm still, like, very iffy on my audio on that one scene already.
Corey is perfectionist. I love him
Already,
for
like,
that.
wanting to redo
The
that.
thing about this audio recorder is it's separate from the camera.
So you can just go back and redo any
Like,
of the
hey,
audio
let's
that you're
rerun
questionable
the
about.
audio,
Yeah,
and
that's
I can
cool.
clip it together.
That's cool.
It's just a fucking jumble right now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. Oh, hang on. Okay, so that's all the behind the scenes footage we got. But at that point, me talking right there. I was really anxious because it was the first time. Again, it was the first time shooting a film since college, and college. The cool thing I had in that was, I had people, I had better gear, more of an outline or structure of what to do, this and that. So this was really just completely on my own, completely in the dark. I was new to Knoxville, new to getting back into the scene. I really did prepare for this shoot. I drew out storyboards of my shots, studied certain material, did my research on my gear and everything. I had all my casting, I had a schedule of all the shots and everything. But when we got up there, it's just time constraints on certain people, or the sun kept coming in and out. The audio was a lot harder to manage than I anticipated. The shots weren't coming out quite as I imagined. Things just like that, the little things, and any director knows, especially no film or no budget director knows that nothing kind of goes to plan when you're shooting. But me dealing with all these things for the first time in a long time, and being not as experienced, made me just really get overwhelmed, kind of just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just shooting to get these shots done. We were spending I think we were there about 6 to 8 hours for the day, and I didn't get a major scene I originally wrote shot. So I was kind of stuck in a pickle, I guess, just for the time being. By the end of the day, I was just wiped, because all this, it was just overwhelming. So I was just pretty much wiped out. But we got it done. We all had a good time. We all had a good time. I met some great people, and we left, and me and my buddies and my dad celebrated that night, and I had the whole summer to edit it because the goal was to get into the Knoxville Horror Film Festival. So here's the actual film. I wanted the title to pop out at you. Here we are shooting that first scene with Charles.
Charles, are you almost done?
Gina.
Not with you asking me every 2 minutes. I'll be done in a minute, hon.
And Roger. And this whole scene is just to kind of set the tone up. It's to set the mood. It's to, like I said, place two people in a random situation.
Charles. What?
That's my favorite shot of Charles. This random situation with facing an evil entity.
What is he doing?
Yeah, I love that shot. That was my favorite shot of the whole film. Well, second favorite. There's so, and then this is the driving scene that Corey and Dennis rehearsed all day. And if you hear that, listen closely, you can hear the song Pete's Arcade by Mass Driver. And this is the first time, or this is a little bit shortly after I worked with Mass Driver for the first time, and they were like, yeah, it's cool to put that in a film. So this scene, I think this is like, it's a fun scene with dialogue, but it's a little too played out. It's about 2-3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes of these guys talking, essentially, and driving. And though they had great chemistry, and the dialogue I think was well written, it's just like, what's the point, right? A lot of people have always kind of said that this was like a long scene, like what's the point of these guys talking, you know? But my point is, I wanted to establish two characters going into a random area, and then something weird happens, and you'll start to see that right here after Corey gets done talking about napping. But right here, this is kind of where everything starts getting weird.
Me
my dad used to come camping in woods like this.
Because what I'm doing is I'm setting up Travis to be a character who has a dark past. And Adam, Corey, is completely oblivious to it. He has no idea what this guy is talking about, or not picking up any cues.
One day, saw the body of this dead guy off this beaten path off the trail.
And when you hear that, you're just like, what? And this is where it starts getting dark. And also the film kind of goes a little spiral right here. And I always hate myself this particular shot right here, because like I'm zooming with the camera when I would now do that a lot differently. I wouldn't zoom straight with the camera. I would do something in post to kind of make that zoom effect happen. But anyways, and there we go. And then this is where it's a time jump. And this is where we lost a lot of people, and I think because this whole in-between of how they got to this particular spot, we didn't shoot. And it's just because we didn't have time.
Yo, man, I'm calling the cops.
It was, this is the tail end of the day right here. We didn't have time to do it, and people weren't feeling well and this and that. We had to kind of cut short on certain things. But this whole moment is just like kind of the selling point also, because this is where it becomes a horror film. You know, why did he just do that? Who is that in the back? Well, here he is walking out of the car. Why is he in the back of the car? You know, these are the questions I was hoping people were, you know, engaged enough to wonder. But it's a big build-up moment. It's a big, like, from the very beginning where you see this guy, and you see he's in the back of the car, and he's walking. It's a big build-up moment to kind of wonder who this is. How did he do that? How did that happen with Laura and Charles in the back of the car? And, you know, why did Travis just do that to his best friend? So, right here, and that was a really cool shot, I think, with Corey, though. I love that, how dark Dennis looks. Like he has this real evil look to him. And right here's our money shot, our biggest shot, my favorite shot of the film, the reveal of the stranger. And this guy, Roger, he did a great job selling that look. I use that look all the time now, and I use the stranger as a great reference. But then leaving here together in that car, which that silhouette in the back is actually Ryan, because Roger had to go. But it makes you wonder, you know, where are they going? What are they doing? Why did they do that? And these are the questions I was hoping to answer later on. And there's still story that I've got either written down or buried in my mind somewhere, like how that all happened and where they were going and whatnot, or whatever. But like, it's a very ambitious kind of film versus just trying to come up with a short and simple short film. And of course, back in the day, I used to do these little post-credit scenes. And yeah, that's it. That's it. It was a very challenging film. I remember editing the film, and where we didn't have that footage to kind of explain all that, I really thought we either had to do a reshoot or I had to scrap the film altogether. I remember calling my dad and just thinking, like, saying, dude, I can't do it. There's no way. It's not gonna work. I don't know what to do. And my mom came down and visited me for a night, and we were hanging out at my apartment, and I showed her the rough cut to this film, and it was rough. But I showed her the rough cut, and I was telling her how I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish it, or I don't know what to do. And she was the one who actually helped me get to the finish line. Like she helped me see it in a different way than I was looking at it. She helped me she kind of just told me, like, to finish it. You know, like, I could do this or that to structure it wise and get to that last point. And she said, who cares, you know? Let people try to wander and think about it. But she's like, you've got a film, just finish it. And I remember when we talked that night, I just remember, like, when she left the next day, that it really did just make sense. And then I ended up finishing the film. And, you know, it's got a lot of flaws, it's got mistakes, and it's definitely a lot different than all my other films, but I learned a lot from it. And I still look back at that film and thinking, like, it's the one that started it all, and I'm really thankful for everyone that worked with me on it. And, you know, it birthed Strange Films, the universe. It birthed the Stranger. I mean, Passenger, the film, the monster film, is a sequel and tying into this film. And it's a really ambitious idea that I think was necessary to create everything else afterwards. But it's definitely something that I had to kind of go through and with my own challenges. But it got into the Horror Film Festival, Knoxville Horror Film Festival, and you know, it screened a couple other places, and now it's online as a little, you know, throwback. So that's it. I just wanted to show some of the behind-the-scenes footage. I kind of wanted to explain a little bit behind that film. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube or on our Facebook page, Strange Films. And there's a commentary that me and my dad did a couple years ago. It's on our YouTube channel as well. A little outdated, but this is just kind of, I just wanted to show some of the behind the scenes here and kind of give some of my thoughts about that. But otherwise, thanks for listening. Hope you all are staying safe, staying inside. I might do some more of these, I'm not sure. We'll see. But thank you very much, everyone. Stay strange and have a great rest of your day.